em cima da hora.
The rescue came in the nick of time.
In the nick of time. Em cima da hora.
Then, just in the nick of time, I read this and swiftly reconsidered. Looking back, I think it happened just in the nick of time. My cold seems to be finally on the way out, not a moment too soon.
Not a moment too soon. Já era hora. Not a moment too soon. Quickly he ran out of the elevator and did so not a moment too soon. Our flight was canceled at the last moment.
She must have changed her mind at the last moment and decided not to come.
Please don't make reservations at the last minute. Sair na frente. Our fine traditions give us a head start on the competition. I get a head start when I begin early.
And I got into the office early this morning so as to get a head start.
To get a head start.
I was able to get a head start on my reading during the holidays. If I hadn't had a head start, I'd be behind in my reading. You've got a head start over others trying to get the job because you've got relevant work experience.
A good education gives your child a head start in life.
You get a head start when you read the chapter before class.
They get a head start when they leave the house early.
I love getting up early and getting a head start on the day.
Enfrentar as consequências. After failing a math test, Tom had to go home and face the music. Face the music, enfrentar as consequências.
It was hard to believe that it was almost time to face the music.
Face the music. You have to face the music eventually.
You have to face the music eventually. He squandered his money, and now he's got to face the music. If she lied to me, then she'll just have to face the music. It sucks to face the music sometimes, but needs to be done.
Take the consequences. Enfrentar as consequências.
Having made the choice for her, the parents should bear the consequences.
Should bear the consequences. Enfrentar.
I want him to face up to his responsibilities and take the consequences of his actions.
Face the consequences. Manter-se informado. I want to know what you decide, so keep me informed. Keep me informed. Keep me fully informed.
Please keep me fully informed of any new developments. company has a computer wizard on the staff who keeps us up to date on the latest in electronics.
Keep us up to date. Keep us up to date. The book will keep you up to date.
I use the radio to keep me in the picture about what's happening abroad.
Keep me in the picture. Manter-me informado. Put him in the picture.
Please keep me fully in the picture.
Picture. Keep you posted.
If there's any more news on that, I'll keep you posted.
Se houver qualquer outra notícia sobre isso, eu vou manter você informado.
If there's any more news on that, I'll keep you posted.
I will keep you posted.
We'll keep you posted on any possible additional developments. We'll keep you posted on the latest news, and thanks for your support.
Era uma vez.
Once upon a time, there were 3 bears.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, there lived a young girl called Cinderella.
Once upon a time, there was an ugly duckling.
Once upon a time, in a faraway land, lived a beautiful princess. I had worked for some big companies once upon a time, but later I was self-employed.
Faz sentido? What John says makes sense to me.
It makes sense to go now. It made good sense to continue with the reforms.
It makes sense to leave early to avoid traffic.
Everything he said made sense. I'd definitely vote for him. The problem is that the narrative makes no sense on a realistic level.
Uma carta na manga. An ace up my sleeve.
Magnus always has an ace in the hole.
Has an ace in the hole. Uma carta na manga. However, the marketers might have an ace up their sleeve. The new game show has an ace up its sleeve.
We usually have an ace up our sleeves to use if we are losing a game.
Ace in the hole.
The prosecutor had an ace in the hole, an eyewitness. Our ace in the hole left our opponents stupefied.
Ir ladeira abaixo. This industry is going downhill. You lose money every year.
As one gets older, one's health tends to go downhill. The area has started to go downhill economically in the last 10 years.
Go downhill. Ir ladeira.
Soon my career will go downhill.
Ir carreira abaixo. Went downhill. The service has gone downhill under the new owner.
Her career is heading downhill. That had been the start of the present trouble. Downhill all the way since then.
Daqui em diante.
From now on, you can wear casual clothes to work every Friday.
From now on.
I promise, from now on, I'll always tell you the truth. Whatever happens from now on in, Hawthorne will always be in my heart. From now on, I want to write from inside me. From now on, the gates will be locked at midnight. From that moment on, I knew that I wanted to be a doctor. They were friends from that day on. He also added that from now on he will be keeping his relationship private.
A longo prazo.
It saves money in the long run.
In the long run.
I gave up music to do Latin because I thought it would be better in the long run. He realized that in the long run, their argument wouldn't seem so awful. What might I do in the long run? That will be hard to explain to anyone in the long run.
Ficar no pé de alguém.
You had to live with your parents breathing down your neck 24/7.
Breathing down your neck 24/7.
I can't sleep with you breathing down my neck. I wanted to enjoy some free time without her breathing down my neck. He was always right behind me, breathing down my neck. The supervisor breathes down my neck all the time, trying to make sure I'm working hard enough. The due date for this paper is breathing down my neck.
Como regra geral,
A good rule of thumb is to plant your seedlings around the end of May.
a good rule of thumb. As a rule of thumb, I move my house plants outside in May. Regra geral.
His work with the youth group is largely by rule of thumb.
Rule of thumb.
As a rule of thumb, the ice on the lake should be at least 2 inches thick to support one person. Keep in mind that the rule of thumb is only a starting point. For observing details, the following rule of thumb can be used.
Regra geral. Rule of thumb.
As a rule of thumb, a good domain name should be short.
Sem problemas. Can you fix my car for me? No sweat. No sweat. Sem problemas.
Of course I can have your car repaired by noon. No sweat.
No sweat. Sem problemas.
No matter what challenge he was given, he could solve it within 10 minutes. No sweat.
It's no big deal. No sweat.
Can you come over here right away? No problem. You did a good job today. Thanks. No problem. Hey, thanks for giving me a ride. Sure, no problem.
Tratar friamente.
I felt guilty, as if I had given the cold shoulder to a good friend, he said.
Giving the cold shoulder. But gave him the cold shoulder. I gave her the cold shoulder.
I'd love to know why Bill gave the cold shoulder to Janice. I tried to be pleasant to her, but she gave me the cold shoulder.
His choice got a cold shoulder from his family. Give me the cold shoulder. He's
It
been
must have made him angry with my comment. He's been giving me the cold shoulder ever since I said it.
Foi por pouco, hein?
We almost got hit by another car driving over here. It was really a close call.
A close call.
When Ricardo arrived at the airport 10 minutes before his flight, it was a close call. He made the flight, though. It was a close call, but I managed to avoid hitting the deer that ran directly in front of my car. I'm sorry, it really was a close call, but we've decided to go with another candidate for this position.
Close call.
That was close, Master.
That was close, master. Foi por pouco. I must say, Blackadder, that was a close shave. That was a close one. Essa foi por pouco, hein? That was a close one.
Suddenly, I realized what had gone on during the sortie and said, "That was a close one."
Aguenta firme. Hang in there. Exams are almost over.
I'll just hang in there. Maybe things will get better. Just hang on in there. The physical training is tough, but it's worth it. B. Don't quit, my friend. Just hang in there. You will be sorry if you quit. Just making sure you guys were okay. Hanging in there, buddy? Sometimes you just have to hang in there and wait. He said, "Joe, I will get there in a few hours. Hang in there." Jane, hang in there, Bob. Things will work out. Sue, hang in there, Mary. Things will work out.
Filho de peixe, peixinho é.
I'm going to go shopping. Me too. I love shopping. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
The apple doesn't fall from the tree.
He's proof positive that the apple never falls far from the tree. My father is a doctor, I am a doctor, and my son is in medical school. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Her daughter soon showed her own musical talent, proving that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Well, my life has been living proof that the apple never falls far from the tree. Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love's daughter is about to release an album. I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. For your sake, I hope the apple falls miles from the tree. But Ken, you have to admit, when it comes to Rebecca, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. George's father smoked all the time, and now George is smoking excessively too. Like father, like son, eh?
Like father, like son.
Kevin decided to run for mayor. Like father, like son.
Ficar de olho. Please keep an eye on the baby. Keep your eye on the ball. We will keep an eye on the things here until I get back. Keep an eye. Keep an eye on a brother while I'm out. I have my eye on the apple tree.
Will you please keep your eye on my house while I'm on vacation?
Keep an eye.
The woman kept a close eye on her purse.
Dar o pontapé inicial. You have to get the ball rolling on this project soon. Get the ball rolling.
I wanted to get the ball rolling before something happened to change his mind. Did you ever get the ball rolling on your plans to build a shed? Using his own money and living in his parents' basement, he got the ball rolling on the organization. We have started the ball rolling. Now others can take our lead. Who else would start the ball rolling?
He decided to set the ball rolling and got up to dance.
Doctor, we have just a few moments for discussion, so why don't you set the ball rolling? The hospital received a gift for $1 million to set the ball rolling.
Como se diz acertar as contas? Acertar as contas. Muhammad Ali was eager to settle a score with a Joe Frazier.
Police believe the killer was a gang member settling a score with a rival gang.
Settle old scores. Acertar as velhas contas.
The natural reaction of most of us is to settle a score, to get even.
Settle score.
Jack came back after 5 years to settle some old scores. Enemies who have an old score to settle. The family was mistreated, and they have a score to settle with the government.
O bom caminho.
I always keep to the straight and narrow.
Keep him on the straight.
He's making a real effort to get back on the straight and narrow.
Keep us on the straight and narrow.
Who could I find to help me back on the straight and narrow?
The straight and narrow.
You have to keep to the straight and narrow if you want to stay on her good side. If you keep to the straight and narrow, you can't help but win in the end.
Dá a ele o benefício da dúvida.
After hearing his explanation, I was prepared to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Give Simon the benefit of the doubt.
Let's give her the benefit of the doubt and assume that she's right. I didn't know whether his story was true or not, but I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt.
To give her the benefit of the doubt.
Samantha gave him the benefit of the doubt. Gary was very affectionate, and she loved cuddling with him, so again she gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Três maneiras de se confundir em inglês. You are confusing me with my sister.
He confused his talk with irrelevant details. Obsessive desire can be confused with love.
I think you are confusing me with someone else.
I'm sorry, I mistook you for John.
I mistook you for John.
Tom is always mistaking Bill for me. We don't look a thing alike, though.
I mistook my book for yours.
The prison buildings could almost be mistaken for a college campus. Please don't mix this idea up with that one.
I mix them up all the time.
People often mix us up because we look so similar.
Se fosse por mim,
You know, if it were up to me, we wouldn't be talking.
if it were up to me,
If it were up to me, we'd do everything together. If it were up to me, you wouldn't set foot on a ship for the rest of your life. You know, if it were up to me, this would be over quick, without all the fuss.
if it were up
If it were up to her, I'd be locked in my room all day. And if it was up to me, you wouldn't be involved in this. If it was up to me, you'd never drive again. If it was up to Mom, she'd never want us to leave the house.
Como se diz, conhecer como a palma da mão. I know this area like the back of my hand. Like the back.
He knows the software like the back of his hand and can often solve problems over the phone without looking. I know the district like the back of my hand. They know this school like the back of their hands.
Dar indireta. Mary dropped a hint that she wants a new ring for her birthday. Dropped a hint. Has dropping hints. Dar indiretas. Well, I keep dropping hits, but that Dullard never gets it. Dropping hints, dando indiretas.
My husband keeps dropping hints about my anniversary present. He dropped a few hints about some gifts he'd like to get.
Seguir à risca.
I'm about to give you a set of instructions, which you must follow to the letter.
Follow to the letter. These are the plans that you must follow to the letter.
His orders were carried out to the letter. The method was followed to the letter. She obeyed his instructions to the letter. This agreement follows the concepts proposed in our communication to the letter. I believe that I can still supervise Dr. House effectively, but we both want to follow hospital policy to the letter.
A cada dia que passa, things grow more expensive with each passing day. With passing day, work becomes harder.
And with each passing day, his feelings for her grew stronger. You will become more bloodthirsty with each passing day. If something changes with each passing year or with every passing day, it changes continuously. Day by day, things seem to get more expensive. Day by day, he's getting better. I watched her grow up day by day.
Cumprir pena.
We did time together in Broadmoor. He did time for tax evasion in 1976.
Good time.
None of us knew that Greg had done time for stealing cars. Sid's wife ran off with another man while he was doing time. Many of the gang members did time while they were still teenagers.
Good time.
He did time in a California prison. Joe had done time on a number of occasions. Tom was doing time for burglary. After the felon served his time, he was released from prison. He was serving time for a series of burglaries in the neighborhood. We couldn't hire him when we learned that he had served time for robbery. He is serving time in Swansea prison. I applied for a transfer after serving time in that chaotic department. If he really served his time in the National Guard during the Vietnam War, he could easily prove it. He was appointed to the post of county manager after serving his time as county engineer in Donegal. There are new questions about the military's policy for calling up troops who have already served their time.
Aqui se faz, aqui se paga.
I told you she would pay for it. What goes around comes around.
What goes around comes around.
Now he is the victim of his own policies. What goes around comes around. Don't lie to your friend. What goes around comes around. He ended up with nobody looking after him. Well, what goes around comes around.
What goes around comes around.
Like I said before, I believe what goes around comes around. It is said that what goes around comes around, and the success of podcasts is definitely proof of the saying. If you treat your friends like that, of course they drop you. You reap what you sow in this life.
Reap what you sow. Você colhe o que planta.
That man was a criminal a few years ago, and now he's in jail. You reap what you sow.
You reap what you sow. Você colhe o que planta. You reap what you sow.
Mary gave money to charity and helped the homeless. You reap what you sow. She just won the lottery. Watch the way you live your life, because you reap what you sow.
Matar aula.
You shouldn't have ditched class yesterday.
Did it.
Winston is worried about Miles since he's been ditching class a lot lately.
Ditching class. Ditching.
You're going to get in trouble if you keep ditching class like this.
Ditching class.
Are you ditching class again? I cut class yesterday to go to a soccer game.
Cut class. Cut
Jane was
school.
grounded after she cut school last Friday. If he cuts one more class, he'll fail the course. I got in big trouble because I am always cutting classes to meet my boyfriend. My friend used to be a great student, but lately she's been skipping class a lot.
Skipping.
He's been skipping class and won't meet us for meals anymore. Find out what skipping a class really costs you. They used to skip class to study more about computers and learn how to program by themselves. Why aren't you in school? Are you playing hooky?
Playing hooky.
Any kid who's not in school at this time of the day must be playing hooky. I don't have time for the sales meeting today, so I think I'll just play hooky. I played hooky today and did not go to work.
Voltar às aulas.
It's back to school time. Back to school is the period in which students and their parents purchase school supplies and apparel for the upcoming school year. Kids often have a tough time making the back to school transition. Back to school time. Here's everything you need to know to help your child get classroom ready. It's time to head back to school. After holidays, students head back to school. Before they head back to school, bring the kids to the zoo. Learn how to get your child ready to head back to school. Do you feel excited or nervous about going back to school? They don't think they will go back to school tomorrow. I go back to school on Monday. When are you going back to school? They return to classes on Thursday, January 3rd. Jones High School students will have new classrooms and computers when they return to classes on Monday. I am a college student returning to classes after a 3-year break.
Abafado?
They heard the sounds of muffled voices.
Muffled voices.
I could hear muffled voices next door, but couldn't make out any words. The muffled roar of traffic could be heard in the distance. The house has double-glazed windows to muffle the noise of aircraft. The muffled sound of the party could be heard in the distance. The room will get stuffy with so many people inside.
The room will get stuffy.
I was in a stuffy, overcrowded office. My room gets really stuffy in the afternoon. Simple ways to freshen up that stuffy bathroom.
Muggy day.
No one wants to leave the house on this hot, muggy day. The muggy weather conditions are causing discomfort for people as they travel. It was a warm, muggy afternoon, and it looked like it would rain.
Abrir mão de algo.
I give up trying to help her.
I give up trying to help her.
They gave up their lives for their country. Are you going to give up work when you have your baby? He gave up drinking 2 years ago. He gave up the presidency. I've given up my dreams for yours. No matter what happens, I'll never give up my life again. Never again. Don't give up your family for anything. I gave up trying to get them to believe me. I give up all my money for you. No one was prepared to forego their lunch hour to attend the meeting.
Forgo. Abrir mão.
Time to prepare was a luxury he would have to forego.
Forgo. Renunciar.
She wanted to forego the dessert and leave while they could. She would willingly forego a birthday treat if only her warring parents would declare a truce.
Ela abriria mão de presente de aniversário de boa vontade somente seus pais em guerra declarassem uma trégua.
She would willingly forego a birthday treat if only her warring parents would declare a truce.
Truce. Trégua. Tirar conclusões precipitadas.
Now, don't jump to conclusions. Wait until you hear what I have to say. I might be jumping to conclusions, but I've seen them together twice in town. Don't jump to conclusions. Perhaps it was his daughter he was dancing with. If you jump to conclusions before having all the facts, you could easily make a fool of yourself. He saw my case in the hall and jumped to the conclusion that I was leaving. The investigation isn't finished, so let's not jump to conclusions about what caused the plane to crash. When Tom and Madonna were seen together, people jumped to conclusions and thought they were dating. You are leaping to conclusions again. Please find out all the facts so you won't leap to conclusions. He leapt to conclusions and became a villain for misguided reasons. They should not have leapt to conclusions so swiftly and so inaccurately.
Custar os olhos da cara.
Everything the restaurant offers tastes good, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg.
It doesn't cost an arm and a leg.
A cruise that cost an arm and a leg. These shoes cost me an arm and a leg. That'll cost an arm and a leg. All these new taxes and service charges are going to cost the earth.
Cost the earth.
Just having a cup of coffee costs the earth in there. It's ridiculously expensive. With us, events don't cost the earth. Don't have anything from the little fridge in your hotel room. They charge the earth for that stuff. It will cost the earth to make decent offices. We paid through the nose to get the car fixed. If you want a decent wine in a restaurant, you have to pay through the nose for it. We paid through the nose for that vacation. If you bring a car into the city, you have to pay through the nose for parking it.
Economizar dinheiro.
I need to save money for myself and for my family. Saving money is easier than you think. Tom is saving some money to buy a new car. We've been saving money to start a small cafe in the town. I definitely agree that it's important to save money when you are young. A bank account for savings. He saves half his salary. It took me months to save up enough money to go traveling. He's been saving up for a new bike. Jan had been saving up her allowance for new shoes. A savings account at a financial institution is a safe place to keep money. They have a creative way to keep money at home. Is it good to keep money in a checking or savings account? They keep money in a safe in their house.
Manter as aparências.
We must keep up appearances, even if it means little sacrifices here and there. Things may be unpleasant, but we will keep up appearances. Simply keeping up appearances was stretching their resources to the limit. They were very unhappily married, but kept up appearances for the sake of their children. My parents, brothers, and sisters would be here, so we had to keep up appearances. We keep up appearances and avoid what might lead to conflict. An example of a bad piece is keeping up appearances, pretending that everything is fine when the truth is that it is not. I hated that I was so worried about keeping up appearances with these people that I was lying to myself. His parents' obsession with keeping up appearances haunted his childhood. I was now determined to keep up appearances by pretending nothing was wrong.
Levar para o mau caminho.
Mom said our cousin is leading us astray. We have to avoid those whose purpose is to lead us astray. Stay away from him. You are leading him astray. You are corrupting his simple mind. Everyone he meets seems intent on leading him astray. I'm afraid that this young man has been leading you astray. I think you had better stop seeing him. No one can lead me astray. I know what I am doing. Parents always worry that certain friends will lead their children astray. Stay away from her. You are leading her astray. I might be wrong, but it feels a lot like she's leading you astray. Many people are led astray by strong feelings. The police were led astray by some false information.
Minha boca é túmulo.
I hope you don't tell anyone about this. Don't worry, my lips are sealed. Don't you dare tell her I told you. My lips are sealed. Oh, and please don't tell him you saw me here. Don't worry, my lips are sealed. I'd prefer you not mention this to anyone else. My lips are sealed. Hey girls, my lips are sealed about the fun we'll have in Vegas. My lips are sealed about it until you tell me otherwise. My lips are sealed about the details. Sadly, my lips are sealed about a lot of the details we discussed so far, but there are a few bits we can talk about. Of course, I'm not telling anyone. My lips are sealed. My lips are sealed about what's going on right now.
Cortar o mal pela raiz.
Let's nip evil in the bud right away.
Let's nip evil in the bud right away.
If we don't nip the evil in the bud, we may find ourselves in trouble. I wanted to nip that little romance in the bud. The whole idea was nipped in the bud. If this problem isn't nipped in the bud, it will soon get totally out of hand. The strike was nipped in the bud by some clever negotiation. If I don't nip it in the bud, he'll keep doing it. We have to nip these money problems in the bud before we get into real trouble. By arresting all the leaders, they nipped the rebellion in the bud. We need to nip this kind of problem in the bud.
Estar em jogo.
That's a very risky investment. How much money is at stake?
Is at stake. Estar em jogo.
About 3,000 jobs are at stake if the company moves to another state. We have a great deal at stake in this transaction. I see my reputation is at stake. People's lives could be at stake. What is at stake is not just the fate of a failed technology company. Much more is at stake in this battle. The issues at stake are issues that people of faith need to confront. Huge sums of money are at stake, so timing and discretion are paramount. I have everything at stake on this wager.
O dia inteiro.
We waited for you at the station all day long. I've been waiting for you all day long. He's used to working all day long. They've been standing outside all day long. What does an elementary principal do all day long? At some point, she was crying all day long for several days. What do you do here all day long? I would do that all day long if I could. You want to lose weight, but you keep eating all day long. I can't stand doing that all day long.
Não dá para agradar todo mundo.
You can't please everyone, so you gotta please yourself. All I can do is follow my instincts because I'll never please everyone. What am I going to do? I can't please everyone. Every child is taught if you try to please everyone, you end up upsetting everyone. You can't please everyone, and you can't make everyone like you. When the boss chose Mary as the chief executive of the project, everybody complained. But you can't please everyone. The great thing about this is that it suits all tastes. Limassol has become a bustling town, boasting taverns, restaurants, and nightlife to suit all tastes. Swindon is home to the Museum of Great Western Railway, along with a variety of other attractions to suit all tastes and ages.
Agradar todos os gostos.
We finally can suit all tastes.
Fique à vontade.
Feel free to say what you like. Please feel free to stay for dinner. If you see something you want in the refrigerator, please feel free. Please feel free to pour yourself some more coffee. The restaurant doesn't sell alcohol, so feel free to bring your own beer and wine. If you want to use my computer for your report, feel free. Feel free to borrow the car whenever you need it. May I choose the restaurant? Be my guest. If you want to add an exclamation point to that sentence, please be my guest. Can I use your toilet, please? Be my guest. May I drive your car? Sure, be my guest. Here's the door. Who should go in first? Be my guest. I'll wait out here. Please come in and make yourself at home. I hope I'm not too early. Not at all. Come in and make yourself at home. During your visit, just make yourself at home. I have to make a phone call, but please make yourself at home. When we arrived at my apartment, I showed my guests the sofa and said, "Make yourself at home."
Falar é fácil.
My boss keeps saying she'll give me a raise, but talk is cheap.
Talk is cheap. Falar é
You've been
fácil.
promising me a new dishwasher for 5 years now. Talk is cheap. He keeps saying he will change the world, but talk is cheap. Talk is cheap, but it takes money to buy a farm. Talk is cheap until you hire a lawyer. Talk is cheap, but will the World Bank really step up on inequality? I respect Jed for getting up and saying what he said, but talk is cheap. Talk is cheap, but let's see how it turns out. The focus should not be on talking. Talk is cheap. It must be on action. Yes, we must find a cure for cancer, but it's easier said than done.
It's easier said than done.
Finding a good job is easier said than done. Michael thinks everything is so easy. He doesn't realize it's easier said than done. It's a lot tougher than that. It's one of those things that are easier said than done. The doctor says I should stop smoking, but that's easier said than done.
Pegar no sono.
He always falls asleep during lectures. He fell asleep eventually. After the long drive, we fell asleep and slept for 10 hours. She fell asleep as soon as her head hit the pillow. It's easy to fall asleep when you're supposed to stay awake, like in a boring classroom or at jury duty. Most people usually fall asleep trying to read a book. Sometimes I used to fall asleep after crying the whole night sitting by the window. I still fall asleep with the TV on because I'm used to falling asleep with people yelling action and cut. I'm used to falling asleep while watching TV.
Fala logo, desembucha.
Spit it out, man. I haven't got all day. Come on, say it. Spit it out. He spit out his words in utter derision. Just spit it out. Don't be shy. Come on, spit it out. I can't do anything if you don't tell me what's going on. After insisting a lot, Tom got to spit it out and say what he needed to. I have a question, but I'm too nervous to ask you. Just spit it out. Lance, spit it out. Stop stringing me along. He didn't want to spit it out in front of everyone, but I finally got to make him speak.
A pressa é inimiga da perfeição.
Jennifer always took her time when making cupcakes because she had learned before that haste makes waste.
Haste makes waste.
Haste makes waste, so don't finish your homework too quickly or you will probably make some mistakes. If you rush the toast, it will probably burn. You know haste makes waste.
Haste makes waste. Presta é inimigo da perfeição.
I know you need your car back in an hour, but don't rush me, for haste makes waste. You know, haste makes waste, so wash your clothes properly, or they might shrink or become discolored. Yumina always checked her paper twice, because she had learned from previous tests that haste makes waste. Mr. Jonas always cooks his steak slowly and on a low heat, because, like they say, haste makes waste, and a burnt steak is no good. After Jaleel ruined his favorite shirt by shrinking it in the dryer, he learned to take care while washing his clothes, as haste makes waste. If you only have 45 minutes, I probably don't have time to cut and style your hair, because haste makes waste, and I want your haircut to look good. Sylvia never rushed her mom while she was making dinner because her meals were always delicious, and she always repeated, haste makes waste.
Ser pego no flagra.
Timmy knew the cookie jar was inside of his grandmother, and he would be caught red-handed if he tried to get another one without asking.
Caught red-handed. Pego no flagra.
The security system was so strong that anyone who tried to break into the store would definitely be caught red-handed.
Caught red-handed.
When the principal asked the boys about the broken glass in the storage closet, they knew they had been caught red-handed. Jefferson accidentally left his baseball hat in his sister's car, so he knew he would be caught red-handed after not asking to borrow it. The sisters realized that they had forgot to turn the lights off when they came in late, so they knew their dad would catch them red-handed in the morning. Bill didn't remember to clock out when he left work early, so he knew his manager would catch him red-handed. Shayla's mom always checked with her teachers at school, so she knew she would be caught red-handed if she ever tried to skip class. I was caught red-handed when I came home smelling like smoke last night. When the students all laughed and pointed to Kyle, he knew he would be caught red-handed for playing a trick on the substitute teacher. When his baseball coach called his parents and asked why Larry didn't show up for practice, Larry knew he would be caught red-handed for skipping.
Melhor prevenir que remediar.
Jared went back to check that he had locked his door because he thought it was better to be safe than sorry.
Better to be safe than sorry.
The grocery store always threw out milk that might go sour soon because they thought it was better to be safe than sorry. The basketball coach always brought an extra pair of shoes in case one of his players forgot theirs. He'd learned that it was better to be safe than sorry. Even though her paper wasn't due for 2 more days, Jessica finished it today because she wanted to be better safe than sorry. To be better safe than sorry, Helen brought 2 bottles of sunscreen with her on the beach vacation. Kendall took his new watch out of his car when he went into work because it was expensive and he thought it was better to be safe than sorry. After 3 days of rain, Mr. Hayes took his umbrella to work on a sunny day, just to be better safe than sorry. Even though she had felt fine for a week, Layla took medicine with her on the weekend trip because she knew to be better safe than sorry. Kyle wanted to be better safe than sorry, so he decided to take a map on his hiking trip in the mountains. It might get cold later tonight, so you better bring your extra jacket just to be better safe than sorry.
Se colocar no lugar de alguém.
Sarah wanted to work in the shop one day so she could see what it was like to be in her employees' shoes. The valedictorian was so smart that he couldn't put himself in the shoes of other students who struggled with their homework. Jerome felt sorry for the freshmen because he had been in their shoes before and knew it was difficult. Mr. Jones was working 2 jobs and felt his wealthy boss didn't know what it was like to be in his shoes. Because she couldn't talk to anyone about her secret, Kayla felt alone, like no one else had ever walked in her shoes.
Had ever walked in her shoes.
Every once in a while, the principal teaches one of the 6th grade classes so he can put himself in the shoes of his teachers. The people who passed the homeless man on the street knew he had a difficult life, even though they had never been in his shoes before. Training for the Olympics is challenging, and only those who have competed before know what it's like to be in the athlete's shoes. Heather had never been through such a difficult time. She had never been able to put herself in the shoes of someone who was suffering like this. The policeman tried to put himself in the shoes of the little boy who had stolen the milk jug, so that he could tell the boy why he had made a bad decision.
Passar dos limites.
Young children often cross the line with their babysitters by being rude and misbehaving. You can't take my new girlfriend out for coffee. That's crossing the line. The student crossed the line when he answered his mobile phone in class. This angered his teacher. I thought the jokes crossed the line and were basically embarrassing. If you steal someone's idea, you have absolutely crossed the line. Players had crossed the line by attacking fans on the pitch. This time, you've really crossed the line. She really crossed the line. I think they really crossed the line with this episode. He's crossing the line in so many ways. He acted like what he said about kicking Corey to the curb was right.
Já vai tarde.
Good riddance to you, madam, thought I.
Good riddance to you, madam. Já vai tarde, madame, pensei eu.
Good riddance to you, madam, thought I. Peter and his nasty dog have finally moved out. Good riddance.
Good
When
riddance.
Jean decided to give up her violin, her relieved family quietly said, "Good riddance." I couldn't be more glad to see the back of them. Good riddance, I say. Goodbye and good riddance. Tom finally went back to her mother's, and good riddance. Goodbye and good riddance.
Adeus e já vai tarde. Goodbye and good riddance.
Lucy said, "He's been cheating on me." Then good riddance. Maybe he's an angry man, and if so, good riddance is what I say. She slammed the door behind me and said, "Good riddance to bad rubbish."
Chorar sobre o leite derramado.
He is always crying over spilled milk. He cannot accept reality. It can't be helped. Don't cry over spilled milk. Okay, so you broke the drill I lent you. Don't cry over spilled milk. Hey, don't cry over spilled milk. Another bus will come along soon. Why are you crying over spilled milk? I know you feel bad about failing that test, but you really shouldn't cry over spilled milk. I'm sure you'll do better on the next one. There's no use crying over spilled milk. It's time to move on and buy another car. My kids were upset because they had burnt their toast, but I told them that it's no use crying over spilt milk, and to just make some more. I know you didn't mean to break my phone, so there's no use in crying over spilt milk now. Bill's car was heavily damaged in an accident earlier and was no longer functional. He was angry about what had happened, but he soon realized that there was no point in crying over spilled milk.
Provar do próprio veneno.
I don't feel sorry at all that people are calling you names. You're getting a taste of your own medicine.
You're getting a taste of your own medicine. Você está provando o veneno.
Tom talks way too much, but last night he met someone who talked even more than he does, and he got frustrated. He finally got a taste of his own medicine. Usually it's you who takes a long time to get ready. You're getting a taste of your own medicine. Her cell phone always goes off during class and it annoys the teacher. Yesterday she was giving a presentation at work and somebody's cell phone went off. Now she knows what it feels like. She got a taste of her own medicine. I'm just beginning to get a taste of my own medicine. Did you see those two people cutting in front of us in line just now? Let's cut in front of them and give them a taste of their own medicine. He's always interrupting people when they're talking. What he deserves is a taste of his own medicine. I saw you pushing my brother yesterday. Maybe I should give you a taste of your own medicine. John, who is often rude and abrupt with people, was devastated when the teacher treated him rudely. He doesn't like having a dose of his own medicine. Let's give them a taste of their own medicine. Then perhaps they may have a less arrogant attitude towards Britain.